Hey y'all. Okay, I know I missed y'all. Good morning. Um, I needed some time to myself to reflect. Not only that, um, yesterday I was gonna get on here, but I just didn't. Hold on. Um, I know you guys heard of the passing of Ananda. Before we start, I just released my short on how I felt as a black woman with so much going on to the celebrities that I grew up watching and listening to have so much. But I do want to say rest in peace to her and prayers to her family before I get into this. I know a lot of people are not going to come here because they already heard it before, but I did want to read a little bit of the Diddy trial. Um, so they're still doing cross examination with Jane. Now, with Jane Doe, I know you guys have heard that. Um, okay, I know you guys heard of mostly everything that's going on, but we're gonna get into today. Now, Jane Doe, to me, we all know who Jane Doe is. We all heard who she is, but we're not gonna say who she is. Okay, we don't all know who she is. Well, we do. We know she Jane Doe. Jane Doe, to me, I was siding with Jane Doe, like, dang, she going through this. Dang, it's different like this. But then when I heard her do the switch up and show how nutty she is, I get it. I get it. We're gonna go into a little recap before we get more into what happened today. Before because I know it's not gonna be long. So basically we got the underwhelming that she noticed around that time she was dating him. We've heard about him dating in Miami and Gina. Gina has been a main factor in this whole situation. Gina has been talked about since week one, day one. Okay. Gina is the whole factor. I wrote down a couple of notes I want to get into before we get into other things. And I know y'all been watching Armand. Shout out to Armand and everyone else about this. And I agree with Armand when my boy say Gina is batshit crazy. I agree. I agree. Okay. So over the 3.5 years, Sean wired ex girlfriend $150,000. Jane tells that she finds successful, attractive men. I mean, as any woman, as a woman, her idol um, partner, which is a provider. So that's why she started to like, Diddy. Um, she was about to get it started by one of the no, I'm sorry. It's I can't even talk. She was trying to get it started from Sly Digger, who is the escort, because of the fact was Diddy was so high doing one of their freak offs that he used the man phone to record. Okay. Um, one of the hotel nights. Now the prosecutors are trying to see who wanted to eliminate after this Jane Doe cross examination. He called her crack pipe. That she was his addiction. Then she would text one of the other escorts and try to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to sum it all up before we get into it. So she was basically trying to, like, get escorts when she thought Diddy wanted them and trying to say that he forced it to come to really find out. He didn't force nothing on her. She was jealous of Young Miami, honey. And when he said that she was jealous that Young Miami and Gina could post food photo, all this stuff, he done smacked her around, kicked her around because he was tying his shoe and she done mushed the man and done kicked all the doors out the hinges of the house. But this heifer sitting here talking, so she want to go to church to Keiko's for her birthday, and then sitting here talking about she want a bag. Oh, why Young Miami got that bag and I did get that bag. So when we listen, I've been had my hunch when I was hearing about everything and reading everything that Jane Doe still loves Diddy. Jane Doe, and then she was trying to talk about the extravagant nights and you know, and then she claimed that she didn't get no time, but come to find out, she was freaking out because of the Cassie situation. I'm giving y'all just a little synopsis before we go in here, a little summary. And then all of a sudden, oh, she asked Diddy for a lot of money. He said, fuck you. Baby, how they stay high, how you put drugs in her mouth because he say she talked too damn much. Child, poor Jane. All right, let's get into today. Oh, shoot now. So Jane is getting redirected. Okay. Let me go to the beginning for today. We're going to talk about today. They just updated it, but we're going to get into today. So so listen. Somebody say no KK, and they said, sure doesn't look like Christina Coram would be this is the answer everybody question, would be a government witness today. Well, now yesterday. They said they anticipate resting their case next Wednesday or Friday. If KK testified, it could be long as Jane, if not longer. So they're looking at this trial being a little longer because of the fact is Christina Coram isn't coming. Okay, she's not coming. He's saying, hey, they done decided to say she not coming. Okay. Now let's get into Miss Janie Doe right now. Hold on, let me see if I can get, because she is taking the stand. They are going through questions with her. Okay. So now they're having a conversation with her. And it starts off with Gergos. There were candles on the walkway. It was very romantic. His heart was beating. I feel like I'm missing something here. Hold on, y'all. It's so hard to read this on Twitter because I want to get where they come in and they start with her. Let me go to his page. And I want to give y'all the whole thing. Now, to the ones that's there, I appreciate y'all for covering this, honey. Okay? And I love it because it's like so much tea with this case. And it is crazy. Okay, here we go. All right. So before they brought the jury in, the messages and issues that the defense wants to get, can you redirect them? So Teeny Gorgeous, we shouldn't have it. It's consistent with our theory. They didn't open the door. Okay. So basically they're supposed to open the door for what they needed with communication. On direct, we elected testimony about the insulated testimony about the end of this relationship in 2024. There were no texts but oral communications. This self-serving voice note by the defendant should not come in. By December 23, he was trying to make a record for a litigation. All right. So what about Ms. Geragos questioning Jane about this without introducing the voice note? That too might confuse the jury. The defendant was trying to feed Jane a narrative about their relationship. The hearsay rule precludes this. Comey says if the defendant wants to take the stand, and subject himself to cross-examination, then fine. So basically, they're looking forward to Diddy taking a stand if he wants to and deal with cross-examination. They're looking at that. They're looking to see, hey, if Diddy wants to take this stand, he has the right to take it. The questions without the voice note will not be the truth of the matter. This will be a backdoor. So the judge agreed with the government on the portion of the voice notes and ordered them excluded. Some questions were permitted. If you feel there may be basis on it, you can call for a sidebar. Now the U.S. want more of Jane's notes of diary. Okay, so now they're finna get ready to bring Jane in a few. Now his voice note was basically him saying, you know, he don't got time. He don't know what she got going on. It's like voice notes of them cussing each other out and things being said. Judge, once there's a motive to fabricate, the statements cannot come in as prior consistent statement. So this was their conversation about what they feel like, hey, this is what it is, like if he want to testify or not. So now we're going to go on to her. So it's 9:59. Counsel, including to Jane, are still in the robing room with Judge Surbanham. Sean Combs has been taken by the marshals back to the holding cell. Bathroom break, and what topic would witness Jane counsel getting, so play as jury waits. So 10:05, there's still some counsel. 10:08, they're having some conversations, and we're gonna move forward. You know, Nicole and everyone's having conversations about things. 10:40. Judge, Mrs. Garagos, are you ready to proceed? So they start proceeding at 10:40 because they actually had a whole hour-long conversation. He had a discussion about Mr. Combs that and Filio. He had a discussion about that Mr. Combs was not present. He would like to allow this objection. We litigated this over some not synonyms. Let's take a break. They took a little break. Can I clear the courtroom if need to? No need. Then they talked about the synonym with Mia. He said that we objected to a synonym with Mia, and now this, okay? The events in the hotel room on the 24th, 2024, I appreciate the balance of maintain the constitutional right to fully public trial remains. We didn't consent to these events should not be fully public. All right. Part of the public nature of the trial is the information for them to reach the public so other witnesses come forward. I wanted my client to hear this. And then he said, Judge said, Ms. Comey, as long as your answers remain no, we're fine. The arguments say the name is attempt to harass. And the judge said, in this event, the hotel is not one of the alleged acts of ex trafficking. It's collateral. It's not a real concern. And then Comey says the identity of those is not real offense. So then they show while we wait for Jane, this issue of identifying a cooperating witness bring forth rebuttal testament from those who learn about it through. So I guess they showing a thing about from Taseki 6'9" to K flat. Anyway, so then they all rise. Judge called the jury in. They apologized for how long it took because it's now 11 o'clock. And it say, good morning. Gorgeous say, good morning. And let's look at your messages where you said, I feel as your lover wanted to please you, push through. Now, they got Jane back on the stand, y'all. Jane is back on. And it said, what you really wanted was to cuddle with Mr. Combs, our intimate moment. Tell me about the mobile TV you got him. It was an LG cordless. You can move it around. And you see your movies on it? She said yes. Gorgeous. After Cassie lawsuit with public, how were things? Jane, I came to find out that another woman had the same experiences I had. I had to put that energy on him. And he was already down. So resentment. Everything was hard. A hard month? Yes. Let's play the voice note. This is the voice note. This is Sean's voice. I don't want to be in a relationship like this. I don't want to make anyone feel like this. Let's end this cycle so you don't feel like I wasted your life. Are there more messages? Yes. Did Sean often say to you, I'm a solutions person, just want solutions? Yes. You wrote I tolerated. I took on a lot in those rooms. Please don't discredit me. And he wrote, never discredit you. Yes. You wrote that you want $100,000 for each wasted here and more of 450,000. You wrote this, right? She said yes. And you said you were thinking of hurting yourself. And he said he cared. I don't know about that. You said you didn't have friends at the time. Call me objection. I can rephrase. You say you talked about your feelings with Sean because you didn't have other people. Okay. Sean still paid your rent, yes. The $9,000 from Bear you had from your modeling days, yes. Did you have to do any work for 9,000? No. The rapper you mentioned, he was close with Mr. Combs, yes. Video came. Hold on, y'all. He's so mannish. I'm bad. She said Mr. Combs knew and said, yeah. So she traveled with and said you went to a birthday with the rapper's wife or girlfriend. Did you know Anton traveled with them? She said yes, okay. And Mr. Combs knew, yes. When Anton was having sex with the woman who many people in the room, 7 or 8, just watching, the rapper was flirting with you? Yes. Girl goes, you flashed your breast to the room. Who asked you to? It was just that moment. What did the rapper say to you that he had always wanted to blank me? So he had a crush on you? Yes. How can you bring up Cabral Sly? Cabral. They asked if they knew anyone in the lifestyle. I said yes at the time. I thought Cabral as a safe and confidential person. That was for the rapper and his partner. Yes. How did they know to ask you? Maybe they just picked up the energy. I heard that Sean and I were into the lifestyle. You flew to Miami around the time of your birthday. And then you flew to Miami for time. She said, yes. He set up a grandiose birthday for you. Yes. There were candles on the walkway. It was very romantic. His heart was beating. Was your heart beating as well? Yes. I just want to say that. Well, I was just about to say that. I'll say that. It's all painted pink and silver. A 5-course dinner. What I wanted for my lover. No ecstasy at the dinner? No, none. Afterward, you took a pill and he took a pill and Don came over. Yes, at 1 star. You were willing to have X with Don because of the birthday party. Yes, it was nice. This was between you and Paul Arthur, which you asked, do you have plans for Valentine's Day? She said, right. You said you wanted to see Paul as a person. Yes. You did after Cassie lawsuit. You saw changes in Sean. Yes. You said Sean would write you, I'm single. I'm polyamorous. And it hurt you. She said yes after the lawsuit. She said yes. After the lawsuit, he went to saying we were in a relationship. You are my girlfriend. That meant a lot to you. It did. So she met someone, a rapper and the wife that was in the lifestyle. Okay. Um, and I know a lot of people gonna jump to conclusions. But she met a wife and a rapper that was in the lifestyle, and that's how she met one of the ex-workers. And at the time. So it says, let me go down. So then it stopped there. So now we're going to get into the text messages. So this is a breakdown of them in the robing room, of what they're going to talk about. Hold on. because he posted this twice. Now, okay. So they asked her when she saw the video of Combs laying hands on Cassie, you felt sick. She said she did feel sick. That wasn't the man that she knew. And then they got a sidebar. So now they have another sidebar. They had a lot of sidebars. Look like yesterday. Well, today they had some sidebars this morning. So they asked about her questioning, Gergos questioning Jane about this without the voice note. It could confuse the jury. And then they said the defendant, if the defendant, that's when we talked about if the defendant wanted to take stand. Why did he do this twice? He posted this twice. For what? I don't know. So they went to sidebar. Okay. Let me see. Trying to see if they went to the break or not and came back, but they did a sidebar. Did he just leave out or something? Okay, here we go. So they still in a sidebar? So this was updated 2 minutes ago, and now they have a sidebar, which is crazy because I'm trying to see when they're gonna come back if they got an update. I'm gonna check CNN for the update too. Let me go to it here. Um, she also detailed while we're waiting on that. So she detailed him dragging her and choking her, right? And this was on Monday. So Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend testified that she pleaded him to stop pressuring her to actual acts with male escorts. She was shocked when she learned about the Cassie Cassandra Ventura bombshell, the lawsuit, right? So this is when she started having a problem with basically being with the escorts. She did not have a problem with being with the escorts before then until all of this came out. So then she had the issue with him dealing with escorts, right? And having relations. But like they said, from April and forward, before they, because remember, she still was dealing with Diddy and they was finna have a hotel night before before he was supposed to do anything. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So to me, I feel like Jane Doe has canned this case, and I said this before she canned it. Like, I think she wanted to go to see him. I do not believe that they were having that they let him see anybody, and she missed that man because the way she talked, that is her lover, honey. That is her man. That is her one and only. She say, I don't want to be used and locked in the room to fulfill your fantasies. I'm not a corn star. I'm not an animal, she told him in a text. Um, she said that she felt like she was reading her own actual trauma when basically they discussed the lawsuit with Cassie, and then Jane Doe was testimony right with her most recent with Combs. On September 9th, she said Combs asked Jane Doe to send explicit videos, expressed his desire for her to join him in New York, but she didn't because he had got arrested. He did get arrested September 9th. Jane was subpoenaed to testify for a grand jury in September. She hadn't spoken to law enforcement about any of it. This is the first time she told anyone about her attacking her in 2024, was in a meeting with the defense in April. In late 2024, Jane got a lawyer in connection with the criminal investigation. Combe is still paying for her legal fees, and he is still paying for her rent. She said that she basically gonna pray for him and send him peace. She still love that man. Don't believe that. She said she had to bottle up a lot of anger and resentment toward him. She called him a pedo. She believed that the women were over 18, but 25, 27 years his junior. She allegedly shoved his head. So this is how the argument started. So he looked like he was tying the shoe or whatever, right? She decided to shove his head into a marble counter when he bent over as if he to tie his shoes. Then she started throwing candles and glass. Crazy. Okay. She just had enough. When she sensed things would escalate, she pushed him, right? She pushed him to it, okay? Homegirl ran herself in the bedroom. But Combs' kid opened several doors. Hold on. You in this nice $10,000 house that he paying for a month, and you decide to run in the room after you done sat here and beat on this man. Okay, so you that we talked about women who like to instigate issues, and she is one of them. He picked me up in a chokehold. I couldn't breathe and I was on my tippy toes. She fled 6 blocks away and hid for 2 hours. And when she returned home, Combs continued to attack her. Jane said she pushed Combs, punched him in his forehead. Combs punched her back twice in the head. He had her balled up on the ground, trying to cover her head, and Combs started to punch and kick her. Jane told the court he then grabbed her hair and started to drag her. Later, as she showered, she was, showering. She's sore. Everything hurts. She can't believe the love of her life did this, because remember, they so in love. She said he smacked her in the face and then instructed her to put some ice on her injuries and put on the outfit, some heels and lingerie, and put some makeup on and go be a pretty girl for the night. Mm-hmm. After alleged violent altercation, Jane testified Combs saw she'd been texting an adult entertainer she called Anton. Combs suspected she and Anton were having relations behind his back and started yelling at her per Jane's testimony, then invited him over. He asked, "Did you cheat on me?" He allegedly asked her. In the bathroom, Jane testified while crying. Combs got an inch from her face and instructed her to take ecstasy and perform acts with Anton. She say, "I don't want." She allegedly replied to which Combs said, "Is this is this coercion?" It just felt like forever. I just felt sick. Like I wasn't in my own body. I felt disgusted. I felt terrible. He had already suspected that she was recording him and stuff. He called her crazy. He said when she asked him about the lawsuit, he said, "You trying to get me locked up, trying to get me cased up, girl." That's what he meant. Trying to get me cased up. What's wrong with you? Baby, if y'all could see the picture, look at this damn picture that they drew to this man. I'm done. Let me tell you something. let me tell, it ain't funny, but look at his face. Look at his face. Who drew this? Did it look? Did it give it pimp? Did it looking like you, bitch? Here's how he looking. This man is crazy, bro. And I don't know. It's not a funny situation, but the way he looking, like you, bitch. Oh, you bitch. Oh, you bitch. That's how you looking, like, oh, you bitch. You better hope. All right. Despite this, she said she saw Combs a couple of days later, and they both expressed constriction. Combs had allegedly told Jane that she broke his trust, and they would be breaking up, but were going to be the best of friends. In a video showed to the court, Jane's bruised eye and welts on her forehead could be seen. Okay. She said that she was about to eat breakfast, but she lost her appetite when she saw Combs the way that he did her in that video. And then she added that she and Combs further discussed the incident around June or July, and that, claiming the rapper assured her that was the only time he and Ventura were violent in their relationship, although he described Cassie as a hitter. Ventura found that other witnesses have testified reads that he did abuse her for years. When Homeland Security agents served a search warrant and raided Combs' Los Angeles and Miami home in March 2024, officials came to her house. Jane testified that she didn't open the door. She said she called Combs but didn't answer. Later, he allegedly hired a lawyer, but she recalled she didn't employ him for very long. He hired different lawyer representatives for himself. Jane read out her communications with Combs for the end of 2023, in which she told him, "I became a side chick and ex-worker in my own relationship." First of all, yes, but I felt like it should have been a red flag when he said he didn't give a damn when he was with your friend. He didn't care about that. And it should have been a red flag when he said he didn't give a damn about your BD, your baby daddy. So to me, when you knew they didn't like each other, baby, you should have known right there what it was and what it was gonna be, and that you were not special. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. Like this this is like, to me, this is why I say you gotta listen when people talk and tell you stuff, and don't just take it and let it fly. Pay attention to that shit. I'm being so for real. Combs told her to stop making accusations. He said it sounds like you're setting me up. And she said that it was shameful and a dark secret that she had held in about, what was going on between him and her. She held on to that. She texted him and said, "I feel extremely exploited." She said, "I feel extremely exploited by you, being high and coerced into this demeaning lifestyle." On the stand, Jane said she and Combs were on a break between November 2023 and February 2024. And around that time, she texted Combs and said, "Please stop drugging women. Leave women alone who don't want to do these nights with you. Hire prostitutes and stop emotionally harming women who love you." The court saw that Combs wrote back and said, "Are you trying to set me up? You're crazy. Are you recording my calls?" She reiterated that she didn't want to have any actual contact with any more strangers after Combs mentioned he had helped set her up with some of the escorts for the alleged freak-offs. In response, Jane clarified that she would text the ones that she was familiar with, which she also called a protective instinct for herself. She recalled a particular upsetting conflict she had with Combs around the same time. They took a break in their relationship. As she accused him of exploiting her, Jane Alleged Combs told her to charge me for your resentment, meaning she would come up with the amount of money to make peace. Jane said she suggested the $100,000 per year, and Combs called her a liar and opportunist, among other demeaning names. The witness teared up as she read messages she sent during an extensive exchange. I'm going to kill you. You won't use me and break me, Jane explained. I just wanted everything to go black. I was so overwhelmed with the evil energy, and this time was very evil and dark. When Combs initially replied he was there to support her, Jane alleged that he told her over the phone, I'm just going to show your child father these tapes. I have nothing to lose, referring to the videos of her having sex. Mind you, these tapes of me heavily drugged and doing things he asked me. Jane sent in a text about the alleged threat to KK, his former chief of staff. Okay. In Forbes magazine, Diddy had a net worth was $400 million, a significant drop for the 2019 figure of $740 million. Both Combs and his team later confirmed he was a billionaire by the Forbes list. Okay. He's not anymore. His numbers are dropping. Jane Doe texted Diddy that she felt violated and manipulated. Jane testified about a conflict she had with Combs over the text in October 2023 when she wrote that she didn't want to fulfill your sick fantasies. Combs told Jane to call him and text her 10 times when she didn't respond. The rapper subsequently sent Jane a screenshot of a conversation with his doctor saying that he might need surgery, which prompted her to speak to him again. Jane said that she then went to the Combs Bel Air home in a concert where he's performing, and Combs allegedly insulted her with a demeaning term when he became impatient. A few days later, Jane texted Combs, asked him to put something in my account, please, apparently requesting money, but he didn't respond. 2 days later, Jane wrote to Combs, he was making me feel crazy, like I got used, adding I felt violated and manipulated by you. He continued to argue over text, with Combs telling Jane that they didn't want to they had anything they didn't want to do, which Jane took as a threat that Combs would stop paying her rent. She told him to stick to your word, like I stuck to this toxic relationship. She recalls reading her, her own sexual trauma in a Cassie lawsuit. She says she almost fainted, and she did faint because there was just 3 specific pages that had a harrowing resemblance to what I had been through. These pages just resembled my own experiences. She told the court she felt like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. I couldn't sleep. I was reading these pages, and I just felt like a nightmare. I can't believe I'm reading my own story, Jane said on the stand. When she asked Combs about the case, she alleged she acted like he didn't know what I was talking about when there was this whole other woman feeling the same thing. Jane says she only met Cassie in passing in 2015 and had never met her in person and communicate with her otherwise. Okay. He said that he texted Jane and told her, I'm stressed and sad about how this is being handled. Jane said, I didn't want any of these nights calling the alleged freaks off a toxic, sad cycle. For one night, and now I'm going to the doctor. So she was going to the doctor because she believed her cootie cat broke. Okay, it was broke. So she was forced to have sex with 3 escorts and then him. She had been crying for 3 days in November 19, 2023, and told Combs he had forced men on her for days. She talked about the forced nights and all the times I couldn't say no, writing, this is just a sick game you play. Then they played the phone call between Combs and Jane, captured by someone on the Music Moguls team who was not identified on the call. Jane told Combs through tears, I've been crying for 3 days. I can't sleep, just reading it all. It's just like so like word for word. He said, I need you to be there for me, Combs said in her response. She said, who's there for me? When he relieves some of the sex acts, when she relieves some of the sex acts Combs allegedly forced her to do. On the stand, she clarified that she was referring to every time I had a flashback, I just wanted to wash it away. Let's get through this together, he said. You need to get some rest. I shouldn't be talking on the phone. She went on to say that he gave her COVID when I'm sorry, y'all. He gave her I'm sorry, the COVID, we're gonna say that. She was assisted to drive to the hotel. She said he was defensive. She didn't like being surprised with entertainers for hotel nights. He gave her a pill. He gave her the CO whatever 20, and they traveled back to LA. She says she's not a porn star, an animal. She says she dealt with that for 3 years. Um, to have, relations with strangers. She told him she's tired. She began crying on the stand when she read how she couldn't text messages about how she couldn't stand the thought of being in another room, doing rugs and performing. Okay. So she's basically saying they did a lot of this. They were saying that he has a child with his rival. Let me see if they updated y'all. What is this text saying, man? Oh, great. My insurance company has changed their number. So wonderful. So great and wonderful. Okay, let's see if they came back, y'all. Okay, they beg. Well, we gonna read it. So they came back from this long ass sidebar. Think my edge is gone. So she asked her, was it between her and about Valentine's Day? They talked about the Cassie lawsuit. He said he was single. What is that? So they came back. Then Gergos asked to say, you remain in contact with Mr. Combs in the video. She said, yes. You stayed in Miami with him for days, then left. She said, I did. He flew to LA in July with his children. She said, yes. Fair to see Mr. Combs post about his road trip with his children on social media? Yes. This is a photo of how you set up the house. Some set up by you, some by Jonathan. Yes. And this is a bottle of Cliquot. Ew, that sounds expensive. Yes. So they showed a picture on a patio. She agreed to that. She said they were drinking champagne. It was 8:30. It was already dark outside. They had tequila shots, but they mentioned no ecstasy, and she said true. Jonathan brought the candles. She agreed to that. And they played the video, music and voice of Combs, championship Bolton Celtics. Half an hour later, you were fighting. And she said about the fighting. You testified you called him a pedo, even though you knew she was not underage, and she agreed to that. And you pushed his head into the counter. She agreed to that. You never had a physical altercation with him, right? She said she had not. She pushed him really hard and she threw a candle at him. So she admitted to it. She admitted to throwing the candle at him. Okay. Alrighty, let me go back. So they having champagne, having a great night. No of the other stuff she claimed that she was having. So the reason it took so long because they were discussing the voice notes. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So they had a fight. So she got mad about something. So we trying to all see, well, what was the fight about that you were so angry about? Like, okay. Also, when she found out that he had took while we're waiting, he took Carisha somewhere for her birthday. She made him come home early because she said that basically that he took her somewhere that she wasn't going to have an FO. So she set up the room and everything for Valentine's Day because she told him she wanted him to have watch her with two different men in her. And that's when we start to realize that she initiated the sexual act. So when he had Carisha on a private jet. She saw that he spent time with Gina, Miss Never Go Nowhere. Let me tell you something before I get out of here because I'm still waiting. Gina, Miss Never Go Nowhere, number one, with Miss Never Go Nowhere, number two, Jane Doe. She was upset about that because she didn't get those things. Here's my thing. I'm going to say this. All the women are gone. They left, they're going about their business, right? And after everybody has disappeared and he's going through this, you still got Gina, who is silently, yes, my man. And then you have Jane Doe, who is, I'm just showing you my support, and you're my man. Jane Doe is giving, no matter what, I'm still here. I'm going to fight for you. I still need my rent paid. No matter what, I'm still going to be here with you. I'm right here. Here is my thing. Y'all fighting over a spot for something y'all never going to get with this man. I don't care how long he's sitting there. You're just never going to get it. You're not going to get that Tiffany diamond rock that you wanting to get. You're just not. The man is, I don't, the moment when he told her that he is not monogamous should have been her red fucking flag to sit here and say, sayonara, good riddance, have a great life. There is no way on any earth that she felt like, well, at least my rent is paid. Well, I get trips. Well, I get this and that. And then you got pimped out. And now you taking all these different souls injected in you. Number two. This is why when I talk about women who need to listen, y'all gotta vet these men. I don't care how much they got, how fleshy they is, how handsome they are, how great of a smile, how good they smell, how tall they is, how great. Let me tell you something. Tomorrow I'm gonna share a story with y'all. I will share it now while we waiting. I'm gonna share it now because we waiting on the update, and I want y'all to take what y'all take from this and pay attention. I hope y'all learn something from this trial, for real. Like, seriously. But while we waiting, sidebar conversation story. There was a young woman. She was dating this man, and he would tell her he was a demon. He'll, like, they have actual acts. He'll be a demon. He'll say certain things to make her do things. She realized that he was that. She realized, she thought because he was handsome, he smelled good, the D was awesome, it was wonderful. Honey, make her climb the walls. But the thing that made her know that he was a D word was when he sat there and made her repeat his name with the affirmation. Okay? Repeat his name with an affirmation. The man told her who he was. Long story short, he got unalived. Baby, when I tell you, she learned who he was. He told her who he was. She said after he got unalive, before he got unalive and they broke up, there was constant dreams of him. She would think of him and all this other stuff. Y'all got to be careful when these men and women tell y'all who they are. That's just a side story, but we're going to talk more about that. Hold on. Everybody's not getting much sleep this trial, child. Everybody that talk about it is crazy. But I've been told y'all who Diddy was, and I've been told y'all his spiritual karma debt is being what needs to be paid now. And we're now seeing it. And do I hate this? Yes. But when you put a woman who stands for things on your back and she don't stand for the things that you have done, and she dislike the mistreatment, you're going to get your karma debt much quicker. I'm explaining it a lot more tomorrow because we got something else to discuss, but let's get back into this. Y'all got to start listening when people tell y'all who they are. So, okay, it says when you say you locked the door, was it a button? Yes. So he did not force a physical lock, but a button lock, right? Right. She said, what was he saying? That I'm crazy. A lot of yelling. You go in the closet. Yes. So obviously they had a lot of yelling. She tried to lock the door. She go in the closet to try to hide from him. This is a toxic behind relationship. In the city, post something else. So when she was running for him, she tried to lock the door. She didn't want him to. He was chasing her, kicking in the doors, as I said before, kicking in the doors and all that stuff. We're going to leave it there, and I'm going to do part 2 tomorrow afternoon. And we're going to do, I'm going to sum up my notes today with part 2, part 1. And we're going to, when we go into part 2, when we go into part 2, we're going to finish it off, and then we're going to jump into what they talked about for Friday. Also, side note, tomorrow I will be talking about Brianna book situation. I do want to have this conversation with y'all about dealing with spiritual people and what you're going to expect to see. We're going to talk about it because I feel like my followers, I have new followers. So we're going to talk about the Brianna stealing the book and why her karma debt is starting to be paid and how it's being enforced a little more quicker. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys. See you later. Bye.